My name is Nick. This is not my car. This is simply a lens into my rose-tinted past, which I will use to review this car. I am back at school, back at the home where my bed has a way of giving me vivid dreams and no sleep. In a frightened cold sweat, I stare at the drywall, and I am forced to recall my childhood, all the bike rides at school, learning how to drive, and cruising around with one of my few friends in this very Mercedes. This is where I go in my dazed state so I can relieve myself from the fear and panic. This is a 1990 Mercedes 300E chassis designation W124 with about 150,000 miles on it. This is the quintessential sedan. You want a sedan? This is the very blueprint. Engine in the front, rear wheel drive, sunroof, leather. Boom. Quintessential sedan. This car transports me back to high school and back to hanging out with my friend, burning cheap gas, not worrying about any of our classes. Life was good. I had finally got my own car I was proud of, and so did all my friends. All the freedom and time in the world. Maybe that's why it feels so comfortable to exist in the past when I totally didn't peak in high school. This Mercedes has a very beige interior. I don't like beige interiors, especially if the outside of your car is also another shade of freaking beige. On the bright side, you could spill vanilla pudding and no one would know for 3 business days. But I can't argue with the style. Cracked zebra wood and all. Every switch in here makes sense. Feels good. Anybody could get into this car and know exactly how to operate anything. It has the familiarity of your hometown. Your grocery store and gas station just feel right. It's the same Quick Trip and Hy-Vee of every other city in the Midwest, but it's where you grew up. And those roads just make the most sense. Everything in this interior is not weak, but it is soft. The thick floor mats feel good on your feet. Doors about 3 miles thick. And these seats. Oh, these seats are just right. I swear, Mercedes put more engineering hours into these seats than the rest of the car. Now, you won't notice any of these features because an ape cut off the exhaust, but you know it's there. And, well, that's got to count for something, I guess. I finally sit up in my bed, sweating. Fear and panic is gone. A distant memory of a coworker I had a crush on for 3 years, and distant, vague memories of my mom's 2006 red Toyota Camry fade away. These distant memories, I guess, were used to calm me down. I check my military watch sitting on the end of my bed. It's 6:15. It's about time to get up anyway. After the gym, I go into my hometown, about 10 minutes away. I decided to go for a drive, make the usual rounds, past my old gas station, my elementary school, my middle school, my high school, and a last minute quick right at the stoplight. I decided to go to a place I tried to remove from my memory, the local park. This Mercedes unfortunately has the 4-speed automatic and not the 5-speed. This is an okay transmission. I don't like automatics, especially older ones, when you know the manual was objectively the better and more efficient decision. Sometimes getting this thing to shift is like trying to get a bureaucracy to do their job. It's all this thing is supposed to do, and sometimes it can't even do that. I owe the state of Missouri $2,761.42, and they won't even come get it. Why? It's your one job. What is the point of even paying if you can't even collect your damn money? This 4-speed automatic connects the rear wheels to a 3-liter inline 6. I don't even have some elaborate comparison. This is just straight up a fantastic engine. It's a 2-valve 10-to-1 compression that makes about 190 horsepower at 5,600 RPM and 188 foot-pounds at 4,400 RPM. Blah, blah, blah. It's not fast, and that's not the point. It is by far the smoothest revving engine I have ever heard. It delivers that smooth torque and holds its speed like it's on the Autobahn. I park in the small blacktop parking lot. I get out of my car and I decide I'm going to go for a walk around the full trail. The sun is just over the horizon and on my back. Birds are singing everywhere. Not one other person on the trail. I walk to my old house. It looks exactly the same. Only difference is there's 3 Fords in the driveway. I shake my head in disgust and walk back to the main park and towards the green pavilion. It feels like I am walking in a rip of time. Time slows as I approach. Here we go again. When I drive this car through these open country roads, nothing exciting happens. It handles exactly how you think it would handle. The steering is a little floaty, but it won't steer you into a ditch without you knowing. Recall when your mom or dad drove you to school. Whatever car that was, it's irrelevant to this comparison. The car drives exactly like you remember your parents' car drives, and I love it. Maybe it's the beige. That might be it. Close your eyes. Picture the color beige, and that's exactly how it drives. Driving in this allows me to forget about my lack of sleep and unwillingness to let go of the past. Loneliness is just so enticing sometimes. Mechanically, how is this car to live with? Well, it's an old German car, and the stereotype is absolutely true. Information can be hard to come by. Real German parts are about as sparse as my sanity. But once you work out the kinks, this thing is a absolute tank. We one time fixed the belt tensioner with chicken wire, and he drove it for like 500 miles, and it was fine. It had a fuel leak and a failing fuel pump for the better part of like 2 years, and it still ran just fine. I also think it just doesn't have a cam sensor, like at all. It's been running on the crank sensor, apparently. And even if you can't get the right part right away, it'll still run. It's as reliable as the one-handed man at Hardee's. He'll get the job done and leave you impressed. I enter the pavilion. 2 birds fly away, chirping, as I sit at one of the 4 green benches. I get a cold sweat. I look around and I can see the whole friend group as it was years and years ago. Everyone was there. I begin to pace around the center of the pavilion, mind racing, and I stop and try to focus. This Mercedes runs on 15-inch wheels, which look fantastic with these hubs on them. Gets about 20 mpg combined, 4-wheel disc brakes, headlight wipers, usual 90s sedan stuff. If you have this era of Mercedes, mostly talking about the W124, get the hubcaps. They are a little pricey, but you won't need a set of wheels. These look just fine. The only other thing that would potentially be acceptable is if you put some BBS wheels on it. Not the cheap ones you can order now on Tire Rack. I'm talking about proper 2 or 3 piece BBS wheels. Bonus points if you can find a way to import them. That would be expensive, and once again, these wheels look really good with the hubcaps. And best part is you won't cry if you hit a pothole in these. I mean, you're still going to cry a little bit. It's like getting kicked in the nuts with a cup on. I mean, yeah, great. I'm glad I had the cup, but, still got kicked in the nuts. As I focus in, I remember everyone's face. All the great times we had in this park. We did everything together. Everyone starts disappearing. The girl I had my first kiss with, gone. My friend who played Nerf and went with me to tech school, gone. The first girl I made out with left to go to some school in Nashville. The guy I had my first beer with moves to Georgia. The girl I smoked my first joint with went across the state to escape her parents. The guy who used to race and mod bicycles with me started his own business and left. The only ones who stayed fizzled out of my vision, and I sat alone, birds chirping. I start crying in my hands. Why was I so upset? What's done is done. Why would the past hurt me like this? I look back around. A vision of my best friend and I hanging out very recently appears. A vision of the girl who in a heartbeat, has and will stop at everything to go cruise around town. She appears. My new friend group, who has had my back thick and thin, appears. The last vision that appears is a man sitting by this 1990 Mercedes 300E. He has a baseball cap on, sleeveless shirt, sitting on the hood, smiling. My tears stop, and I realize my ignorance. I thought I had lost everyone. I didn't lose anybody. The people who left were gone from the beginning. That's what this car is. It's potential. It's old, but it's brand new. It's not the rose-tinted glasses. This car is exactly what a car should be. Starting this, I thought the past would haunt my opinion. I would see it through some kind of rose shade. And it hasn't. It's everything good from the past, but with modern upgrades. 90s mechanical fuel injection, air conditioning, cruise control. Yet it's still a front engine, rear wheel drive. It's got nice leather seats, naturally aspirated engine. This Mercedes is perfect. Does it still reminisce about the past with this styling? Absolutely. But don't we all? The past should be learned from and not repeated, as the saying goes. But if you fear a park or any location because you fear what memories it will bring or what memories lie in that area, that is fake fear. If you are fully engulfed in the past, it can and will hurt you. But you have to come back once in a while to remember exactly who you are. And this car reminds me exactly why I love cars. It's the perfect car. So, if you ever get a chance to buy or even just to drive a Mercedes 300E or any Mercedes of this era, specifically the W124 platform, absolutely do it. Even if you don't have old memories you're trying to put to rest, it is still absolutely worth your time. After all, you still need something to break the cold sweat when you are scared, and this Mercedes is the perfect car for that and so much more.